Welcome back to Luna Yogini channel. It's been a while since I have seen you guys. I missed you so much. I missed shooting my YouTube videos. I haven't been actually well. I was having massive sinus attacks, and those of you who have sinus, you know my pain. It goes through my nose to my brain. Today I'm here with the topic budget trip to South Korea. How much do you need? How much do I need to save up during this quarantine? Before we move on to the topic, I would like to give out a few shoutouts because you guys have been sending me so much of love and support, and I would like to do a little bit on my part. So, the first goes to Zulu Mualemtor. He is a pastor and he has been sending me a lot of prayers and love. And yes, I have been sick, so I felt I have my family who is loving me and supporting me. So thank you so much, Mua Pastor. This pic is with
Reverend Frederick. Can you see? It's so cute. They look like brothers.
Next three shoutouts are for YouTube channels. So
Do go and support their journey, guys.
So the first one is Yangman Lukim, and he has an amazing voice.
So do give his cover songs, his songs a listen.
And the next is Jinx the Kid. I think his YouTube name is Kid Jinx, and he just released his first debut song, which is Love.
L-U-V-V.
Really appreciate his creation. And the next goes to Itoho Yeptomi. He's another very fun entertainer, and he has just started his YouTube channel, and he is full of passion to create more and more. So do go and support these people, guys.
Thank you.
Today, I'm just going to share the basics of a budget trip to South Korea. A 10 days trip to South Korea. Because it's a budget trip, I will mention some of the places you can visit in Seoul and how much it will cost for you to stay in Seoul for 10 days. And I will also mention at the end how much are the bus fares, the cheapest fares to a few important places, and the flight fare till Jeju Island if you want to do a bonus trip.
If you have some more cash.
But I assure you, Seoul is a city full of things to explore, so 10 days honestly isn't enough. Anyways, let's get back to the point. First, I would like to share about the flight fares. As you guys know, right now, international traveling is a big affair, right? It's not a good choice, guys. But I'm talking about the future. Perhaps after this corona goes away, if you would like to visit South Korea, I hope the flight fares reduce as it was before, because right now you know how much it is. It's like 1 lakh something, and most probably it's taken by people who do business or people who want to go back home.
I would also want to go back home, but I just feel it isn't safe enough, so I'm still here waiting, and I hope this corona goes away so that the flight fares also drop down
as it was before.
I hope everything becomes safe so that I can go back home. And I'm rambling again.
I think my viewers are mostly from India, and I am talking to the people in India who would like to go to Korea, okay? So today, all the rates, all the price range, everything will be given in INR for your own convenience. I'm not really good with maths, so today's video is a tough one for me, but I have tried to chalk it out just for you. Back to the point again. The normal flight fares from Kolkata till Incheon Airport, it used to be the cheapest ones. I'm talking about with 2 stops or 1 stop or sometimes even 3 stops through China. You know, China Eastern Airways was the cheapest, and if you buy it beforehand, it used to be around 30,000 rupees. If you would like to go through Bangkok or through Singapore, by Thai Airways or Singapore Airways, these cost a bit more. These are around 40 to 45. I mean 40 if you're lucky, but usually it's in the 45K range. I hope after this corona the flight fares drop and you get to go with the budget of 30,000 as I did before. You need to suffer a bit though, you know, like you have to stop, take out all the luggage again and go. It's like a big hassle, but yeah, for 30,000 rupees, which I'm talking about a round trip, okay guys, it's not a one-way trip. Round trip for 30 is a very good deal. Just keep in mind of the cheapest and also like the average range, which is 45K, alright? So that goes for the flight fare. And one more thing, it is much cheaper to buy a round trip. I know all of you guys know it, but just reminding you that a single trip would cost me, the cheapest one would cost me 28,000 with China Eastern Airways again. But a round trip also costs like 30. I mean, maybe a single trip would be 26 to 28 and a round trip for 30 or 32K. I mean, you can see there's a very less difference. So just remember to buy your flight tickets as a round trip flight ticket. What am I saying? And now about the visa for the Indians to go to South Korea. We are planning for a 10-day trip. So the short-term visa which you will get is for 2,800 rupees, which is pretty cheap. Go Google and check it out once again, but it is a single entry visa, so you can enter once and go out. I'm so bad with this. One more thing, visa on arrival is not there for Indian citizens, so do log into the visa website and definitely make sure that you have short-term single entry visa for Korea. Alright guys? About the currency rate, I hate this part, but anyways, I'll try to make it as simple as possible. 1 rupee is 16 won. Yes, Korean currency is 1. So 1 rupee, you get 16 won. But don't fall for the illusion that you're getting more money. $1 is 1,200 won. And $1 right now in India is around 70 to 75 rupees, right? If I have to make you understand, with the 1,200 won, I would probably get a 20 rupees packet of that size of potato chips. So I get only one. But with 70 rupees, we will get 3 of them, right? And we would still have some money left. It's not that cheap. The amount seems a lot, but the lowest note is 1,000 won. Here it's 10 rupees, right? One more example would be, you would get a 1 liter of water for 20 rupees in India, right? But in Korea, you get 500 milliliter water, half of what you get right here, like 4,000 won. So 1,200 won was $1, right? $1 in Indian rupee, 70 to 75, and you would get 3 bottles of 1 liter water. In Korea, you will get only 500 milliliter. Got it, my lizard? Yes, 500 milliliter of water. So yeah, it's a bit expensive. The value of Korean currency is stronger than India. Now about your stay in South Korea. I wish I could accommodate all of you to my place, but my house isn't in Seoul. My house is in Daejeon. But if you ever come to Korea, and if I am in Korea at the time, contact me, we can meet, and I can show you around. Yeah. Back to the point. If you are on a budget, like on a tight budget, we students, we all are on a tight budget all the time, right? So I mean, if you have money, there are a lot of options for Airbnbs and hotels and guest houses and beautiful places and stuff. But yes, for a budget trip, the best option, which I would recommend you guys, is to get a dormitory. Okay, in Korea we get a lot of female only, dormitories only for females. So if you are a girl, you would feel much safer in those places. So I am going to link and show you some pictures here right now. Tong 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 tong. Yeah, these are the places I would recommend for us girls. And if you are traveling with your other buddies and it's boys and girls, we're all traveling together, then there are also mixed bedroom dorms. The rate of such dorms, the cheapest ones, and most probably when they give you a little bit of discount in Indian rupees, it would be 1,000 to 1,200 rupees. I'm talking about the cheapest one, guys. And if you can afford a bit more, around 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees, I think you would get better options. And the cheapest single bedrooms, the cheapest single rooms for one person, it will cost you around 2,500 to 3,000 rupees. So I wouldn't recommend that. So go for the dorms, okay guys? 10 days of 1,200 rupees. Let's just say it will cost you around 12k Indian rupees. That's reasonable. So next is the transportation. Okay, the moment you land to Incheon airport, Incheon is 1.5 hours away from Seoul city. So you have to take a bus, which is the cheapest way to get there. And going from Incheon to Seoul is around 500 to 600 rupees. And you have to come back as well from Seoul to Incheon when you will be going back home. So another 600 rupees, let's say. Altogether, to and fro from Incheon to Seoul, Seoul to Incheon would cost you 1,200. Okay? And there is something called T-Money card, which is like a transportation card for subways as well as local buses. And I would recommend you to buy this card initially. You can buy it in convenience stores very conveniently, and you can recharge them there only in the convenience stores. It's around 160 rupees to buy the card itself, and then you have to add money for the fares. If I make it very easy for you, if you take a subway, it depends on the distance of course, but the basic minimum fare on subway or a bus, a local bus, it would be around 80 to 100 rupees. Alright, I will be listing down some places for you guys to visit. And if you start from your guest house, your dorm, and then go somewhere, going 100 rupees minimum distance, perhaps a bit more, so whatever, let's try to keep it in the minimum fare, 100 rupees going somewhere and then coming back another 100 rupees. So per day, minimum transportation charge which you would need to keep in mind is 200 rupees. But yeah, that is the minimum. And if you are someone who wants to go to all the places, like as many as places as possible a day, then of course you have to keep adding another 100, another 100. So yeah, that calculation I am leaving it up to you, but you get the rough sketch of how much it might cost you, right? In total, I kept for the transportation per day, if you use only 200 rupees for going and coming, then for 10 days 2,000 rupees, and yeah, minimum 2,000 rupees for transportation plus the 1,200 rupees for going and coming from the airport. It would be convenient for you guys to download Kakaomap, which is like Google Map. You can use Google Map as well, it works fine, but Kakaomap will also guide you very well, like how much it would cost you for subways or buses, like it will show you. And then also for the subways, I like this app called Subway Korea, so you can download both of them for your convenient transportation. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend you to take the taxi. It's super expensive, guys. In a day, you might just use up few thousand rupees just in case. For emergency cases, you can download like Uber in Korea. We use Kakaotaxi. I'll link it down below. How do I link it down below? I'll write it down below in my description box. Once you download these apps, honestly, I think Korea's public transportation is cheap as well as the most conveniently made. So I hope you wouldn't face any trouble. So now to the interesting part, which is food. Yeah! In Korea, you will get a lot of variety of food like in any other country, I guess. But in Korea, you get cheap food as well as very, very expensive food. That also, I guess, like any other country. Anyways, so back to the point. I would say an average Korean meal, like with soup, rice, and maybe 2 or 3 side dishes, it would cost you around 400 to 500 rupees. I'm taking reference from the place called Kimbap Cheongguk. You get Kimbap Cheongguk everywhere in Korea. There are a lot of branches, and it's a place where you get food in affordable prices. Starts from ramen. You love ramen, right?
Different types of ramen, and then you get rice varieties with soup, you get other noodles.
Anyways, you come and explore that side of it, but I am trying to let you know that the average price is around 400 to 500 rupees per meal in such affordable places. But of course, if you go to a fine restaurant, it will cost you 2,000 rupees per meal as well. So yeah, it depends on where you go, but you wouldn't starve. So don't worry guys, okay? You would get a good meal even in these affordable places. And if you go to college, university areas, because that's where all the students are, you will get a lot of affordable range of food. For the snacks, like the street food or snacks in convenience stores, I would say like it would cost you around 70 rupees to 200 rupees. So that's also reasonable. So I'm very excited for you to go and try out all the Korean food and snacks. So for 10 days, I have kept a budget of 10,000 rupees for food and snacks. Of course, it would increase depending on where you eat, but yeah, the minimum cost would be 10,000 rupees for 10 days. Now I'm going to mention some of the places you can visit in Seoul. And the first is Hongdae, my favorite place, because Hongdae is the most hip area. It's the area around Hongik University. A lot of fine art students study there, so you know, you'll get to see a lot of artsy, vintage, indie clothing stores as well as jewelry stores, and a lot of nice cafes, restaurants, and everything. Also, like if you are up for some nightclubs, yes, the coolest nightclubs are there in Hongdae. The nightlife in Hongdae is amazing. So yeah, some of the dorms which I have shown you guys are situated in Hongdae. So the next is Itaewon, and I think you guys heard the name through the K-drama called Itaewon Class. Itaewon is a place where you'll get to experience a mixed culture. It has this international flair to the space. So here you'll get a lot of cuisines to try. Restaurants, bars, cafes, clubs, everything. And the next is Insadong. Contrasting to Itaewon, it is a street where you'll get to see a lot of Korean traditional tea houses, eateries, and you can buy your souvenirs here because you'll get to see a lot of Korean traditional stuff like pottery or Korean handmade paper called hanji, and many cute little things from Korea for your friends and family. And the next is Bokcheon Hanok village, which is right next to Insadong. Here you'll get to see traditional Korean houses. It's called Hanok. And there you'll get to rent Korean traditional costumes and you can wear them. If you walk through this hill, this Bukchon Hanok village is on a hill. So you walk through the hill wearing Korean traditional dresses, and then when you go down, you will get to see Gyeongbokgung, Changdeokgung. These are Korean palaces. So you'll feel like the queen or the king for the day, you know? You'll feel so royal wearing those Korean traditional attires. For renting these attires, it's a bit expensive, but you can rent it for around 4 hours or a bit more, and it will cost you around 1,200 rupees. But I think it's a very nice experience to wear the traditional attire of a country. You will feel for a moment like the culture and tradition of Korea. I think it's worth it, so go give it a try. Next is Myeongdong, another favorite spot of mine. I go there for shopping, a lot of shopping. Just right before coming to India, I poured from Myeongdong because you get a lot of beautiful dresses, clothes, and the shoes and makeup and skincare stuff, and you'll get for a good price because there are a lot of sales going on. So yeah, Myeongdong. I definitely recommend you to go to Myeongdong to do your shopping. Next is Gwangjang Market. Gwangjang Sijang. We say Sijang for market in Korea. So this is one of the oldest markets in Seoul. Here you will get to experience a very local, very noisy, very hustle bustle kind of market culture, and there you'll get to have a lot of street food. So go there and experience Korea. Next is Cheonggyecheon. It's a natural creek which flows through the central part of Seoul, and here there are walking trails, biking trails. Renting bikes aren't that expensive. I don't know how much it exactly costs because I haven't personally tried it. However, yes, it's a nice place to just stroll around, look around all the couples. On a second thought, not the best idea if you are feeling very lonely and single. Yeah, but you know, in Korea, I don't know why, but you get to see so many couples around, lovey-dovey, mushy-mushy. So when I'm having a long distance with my Luki Pai,
I'll be honest and say that yes, I do feel a bit jealous and I do feel a bit lonely.
The next is Namsan Seoul Tower. If you want to see and experience the cityscape of Seoul, definitely do visit there. For the entrance fee for the observatory, it costs around 800 rupees. And if you want to ride the cable car and enjoy the view, it will cost you another 600 rupees. Keep that in mind. And I mean, going up to Namsan Tower, just looking around is also fun. So yeah, that's up to you. The next is the National Museum of Korea. Definitely you should visit here to understand more about Korea and Korean culture and the history of Korea, the culture of Korea, the tradition of Korea. Okay, and the admission cost is free. So definitely visit the National Museum of Korea. And the next is, if you are into art, then do visit the National Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art in Seoul. And the admission fee is around 250 rupees, so that is also quite reasonable for the experience. Most importantly, when is the best time to visit Korea? I think it's April because you'll get to see the cherry blossoms blooming. I love cherry blossoms. I think anyone standing underneath a cherry blossom tree will fall in love. Just try to visit Korea around the time April because the temperature is also quite soothing. It's not hot, it's not very cold, a very favorable weather. Yeah, the minimum temperature is around 5 degrees Celsius and the maximum would be around 17 degrees Celsius. So yeah, a bit chilly at night, and in the daytime a very pleasant weather. Adding up the flight fare, visa fare, transportation fare, room fare, dorm room fare, food, and shopping. For shopping, it's all up to you. But yeah, if you're on a budget, I just kept 10,000 rupees for shopping. You wouldn't get a lot of things out of 10,000 rupees, that I should say, because yeah, anyways, first let us finish this. So altogether, approximately, if you get a good deal on your flight fares, then it's approximately 80k. So yes, that is the budget for a very budgeted
trip to Korea. Oh, that sounds so terrible.
So that's it on your budget trip to South Korea.
I hope I haven't missed out on any point.
I can keep making videos like this in the future, so if I have missed out any point, I will make sure that I mention in my next video. And I hope this video was helpful. I have tried my best to keep the budget as low as possible so that you get a basic idea of how much you should keep saving up from now. And not to forget, the Korean sentence of the day is 행복한 여행이 되시길 바랍니다. Okay, that is a bit long because it's said in a very formal way. I wish you a very happy and pleasant trip. 행복한, happy, 여행이, trip, journey, 되시길 바랍니다, which is I hope, I wish you a 행복한 여행이 되시길 바랍니다. And I haven't forgotten about my dance video. Wait for me to rise up and dance for you in my next video. I love you guys. Ta-da! I'll see you in my next video. 안녕. What the unnecessary. I just wanted to add that there are a lot more places to visit, but yeah, then this video will go on and on and on, and
You'll say, what? The unnecessary.
on top of that, honestly, I want to make many videos about where you could eat and where you could explore. But as you guys all know, right now I'm in India. So hopefully when I go back home,
When this corona is over,
I can vlog about Korea for you guys. But for now, stay tuned with my other videos. Ta-da! 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 Nostril. Suor or shingur? What do you call it? Sure in Bengali. What do you call in Nagamese? Korean is 돼지. Tata.